Yeah, but it doesn't bother him that God willed his own son to be slain on a cross and shed his blood for us. That just goes right. It's always child rape. It's always that's the first pivot with these people is they think of a horrible, horrific crime, and in our carnal minds we may not understand how the Son of God being slain is worse than that. But I can tell you personally, I believe that that was the worst sin ever perpetrated on mankind, and to put child rape or harm in front of it, I probably shouldn't say those words, but anyway, moving on. It's something that they'll always pivot to. They'll think of the worst possible crime that you can drum up. Yet, go to 1 Samuel 15:3. Infants were killed with a sword by Samuel after Saul didn't do it. So tell me, is there unrighteousness with God for that? They'll never explain those verses. They'll never come to the table with any explanation.
Yeah, that's right. It's just an emotional argument. The most wicked, ungodly act that ever happened in human history was by God's determined plan. Him being delivered by the determined purpose of the foreknowledge of God, you have taken by wicked hands and crucified him and put him to death. That by God's predetermined plan. And it was one of the most wicked, ungodly acts to take the innocent Son of God and crucify him. But there was a purpose behind it. There was a reason. And that's what we say about things that happen in reality. For everything, there's a time, there's a purpose, there's a season. For everything under heaven, there's a time to laugh, there's a time to cry, and there's things that bring things, people to those circumstances and to those events. And God is sovereign over it. And if he's not, then you're just saying it's a random, cold, indifferent happening where God sits back and just lets it happen without any purpose, without any reason. And we're not here to tell you all the purposes and reasons that God has for every intricate thing that he determines in reality to happen. Like it's beyond our scope of being able to untie everything that God does in his purpose and his plan to tell you fully, exhaustively, the mind of God and everything he's doing. We just know that for everything under heaven, there is a time, there is a purpose for everything. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to dance. It goes on to just about everything you can name under heaven. And there's a purpose for these things and the plan and the mind of God. And if you just, divorce God from that, then you're just saying it's happening without any purpose or reason. And God's just indifferently standing beside and allowing these things to happen. Don't you believe he could stop them from happening? Then if it's not God's plan in some sense, then you have to ask yourself, why isn't he stopping it? Why is God not stopping it if it's not, that's the thing.
No, that's a wonderful point.